Nature, a Mystrikal perspective. Part 1 of 3. Nature means the totality of existence, the whole of reality governed by natural laws, with nothing supernatural beyond it. For Mystriks, nature is simply everything that exists. Every phenomenon, from the tiniest quark to the grandest galactic cluster, is part of one continuous, law-bound reality, complete and self-contained. There is no evidence supporting the existence of hidden realms or magical forces outside its domain. If something can affect our world, then it belongs within nature. This perspective aligns with philosophical realism, the view that a world exists outside our minds and can be known, and gives Mystriks a solid ground to stand on. Our stance is that what fits within nature is what truly exists. This isn't a claim that can be proven like a scientific hypothesis. Still, a foundational commitment. The most consistent, predictive, productive way to understand reality is to treat everything we encounter or discover as part of nature, until corroborating evidence forces us to reconsider. For a Mystrik, talking about nature is the same as talking about reality itself. We make no meaningful distinction between the two. They're one continuous fabric of existence. What people usually call the natural world isn't just forests, oceans, or stars. It includes everything that exists, including human beings, our minds, and the things we create. A smartphone or a city might be artificial in everyday language, but both still operate under nature's laws. Humans are products of nature, so everything we invent or do remains part of nature too. Even things we don't yet understand are assumed to be natural, not magical or divine. If solid evidence ever emerged for something once thought supernatural, we'd simply incorporate it into our understanding, showing it was part of nature all along. In this way, nature is an ever-expanding frontier. Each discovery enlarges our knowledge without breaching some separate supernatural order. Mystriks don't reject supernatural claims out of stubbornness or dogma, but from humility in the face of nature's consistency. Across the span of human history, countless events once believed to be the work of gods, spirits, or magic have yielded to natural explanations, their mysteries dissolved by evidence and reason. Yet there is no example, none, of a phenomenon that was fully understood in natural terms, later being shown to have a supernatural cause. This track record is why we trust nature as the ultimate reality. Instead of filling gaps in our understanding with superstition, we investigate with reason and observation. Nature isn't some dull mechanism we need to escape with fantasies. It's often more intricate and awe-inspiring than any imagined realm. From the event horizon of a distant black hole to the emergence of life, its grandeur needs no supernatural embellishment. We approach it with both honesty and connection. Honesty, because if something is real, it must be natural, and connection, because it means we are part of the same unfolding story. In recognizing this, we find clarity, belonging, and inspiration in the truth that the cosmos itself is enough. Nature, a Mystrikal perspective, Part 2 of 3. In the Mystrikal view, the word natural refers to anything that arises from the principles of the physical universe without invoking supernatural forces. Calling something natural means it belongs to the same testable, law-bound reality as a falling stone or a blooming flower. If someone claims an event is purely magical or beyond natural explanation, we treat that claim with deep skepticism until convincing evidence is shown. Only natural causes have proven consistently reliable for explanation and prediction. Supernatural ones have never passed rigorous tests or produced useful forecasts. For us, natural is the gold standard for what we can trust as real, something observable, understandable, and explainable within the unified framework of the universe. Natural does not mean untouched wilderness or raw instinct. It covers everything that exists, including human culture, technology, and creativity. Many imagine natural as the opposite of artificial, but Mystrikism rejects that split. Humans are part of nature, so our inventions are too. A dam built by engineers is as natural as one built by beavers, because both follow the same physical laws. A synthetic chemical is as natural as one from a plant. Both are arrangements of atoms behaving according to chemistry. And natural does not mean good. Nature contains poisons, diseases, and disasters alongside beauty and vitality. It does not hand us moral rules. In everyday speech, natural often means innate or aligned with human nature. Mystrikism recognizes that human nature includes both destructive and cooperative impulses. Greed, aggression, and tribalism are just as natural as empathy, fairness, and kindness. The difference is that we do not treat everything natural as good. We consciously choose to elevate the pro-social instincts that promote long-term well-being. Evolution shaped humans with powerful social tendencies, altruism, generosity, even self-sacrifice, because they helped our ancestors survive. Groups bound by mutual aid often outcompeted those without it. Cooperation, in this light, is not an artificial virtue, but a deeply natural strategy for thriving. For a Mystrik, the better angels of our biology are not a denial of our other instincts, but a deliberate choice about which ones deserve to guide our ethics. From this perspective, humane and empathetic behavior is profoundly natural for humans. In practice, Mystriks aim to make goodwill their first response to others, not as naive tolerance, but as the default stance that best supports understanding and mutual survival. When harm is done, empathy must be paired with justice, but whenever possible, we choose dialogue over hostility. Aligning with what is natural for us means favoring the capacities for reason, empathy, and cooperation that evolution has built into us, not using nature as an excuse for cruelty or indifference. Kindness, as we see it, is part of our evolutionary inheritance, proven by the thriving it makes possible. Lastly, calling something natural also means it is grounded in reality, not in wishful thinking. If something is natural, it can be studied, understood, and integrated into our knowledge. Claims of miracles or magic cannot be examined unless they demonstrate themselves in the arena of nature. By focusing on natural explanations, we gain practical power. Finding viruses instead of blaming curses lets us predict, prevent, and heal. We reject unnatural, meaning supernatural, explanations because they neither explain nor solve. For us, natural marks authenticity and reliability, indicating that something belongs to the shared reality we can investigate. Whether it's a feeling, a behavior, or a cosmic event, if it's natural, it's part of the actual fabric of the universe, and in Mystrikism, there's no higher compliment than that. Nature, a Mystrikal perspective, Part 3 of 3. For Mystriks, naturalism is more than simply the belief that nature is all there is. It's the conviction that every phenomenon, from the simplest particle to the most complex mind, is entirely part of the natural world and governed by physical laws. We reject the idea that some properties or realities are inherently irreducible or require supernatural forces to exist. In Mystrikism, even so-called emergent properties are understood as provisional labels, helpful in describing complex outcomes we don't yet fully understand, but never the final explanation. Consciousness, ecosystems, or any other intricate system may appear to be more than the sum of their parts, but we see this as a gap in present knowledge, not proof of irreducible magic. Given enough time, evidence, and refinement of science, we hold that every phenomenon will ultimately be explained through increasingly precise, reductionist principles. We embrace epistemological emergentism, acknowledging that complexity often looks irreducible due to current cognitive, technological, or methodological limits. But we reject ontological emergentism, which claims specific properties are fundamentally new or beyond reduction. This stance aligns with epistemological reductionism, the view that the best way to understand complex phenomena is by analyzing their simpler, underlying elements, while still appreciating that complex systems can display patterns and behaviors not yet evident from their parts alone. By combining this reductionist confidence with a naturalistic worldview, Mystrikism maintains both intellectual humility, accepting that we don't know everything yet, and trust in the scientific process to uncover the underlying truths of reality. All these insights converge into the Mystrikal perspective on nature, the entirety of reality, one unified natural world with nothing supernatural outside it. We see no real boundary between the physical and the mental, or between natural and artificial, because everything from distant galaxies to human thoughts exists within the same continuum. Recognizing that reality is entirely natural and law-governed frees us from the false comforts and confusions of supernatural thinking. It gives us a clear, coherent view of existence, one in which we are participants, not spectators, and entirely at home in the cosmos that produced us. We are beings produced by nature and entirely at home here in the cosmos. To call something natural is, for us, the strongest way to affirm it as real. That means we ground our understanding and decisions in evidence, reason, and cause and effect. By insisting on natural explanations, we use tools that work, from science and medicine to systems of justice, instead of chasing miracles or myths. Embracing the natural gives us the power to change things for the better. We can fight disease by studying biology and foster peace by understanding human nature. Knowing that nothing about us is above nature keeps us humble. Our triumphs and flaws alike have natural causes, meaning they can be studied, understood, and improved. We reject the idea of a supernatural rescue or doom, and instead accept responsibility for our own lives, societies, and planet, guided by the reality before us.